So just to kind of lay out the scene from here, their task. I mean, after this whole Kyoto shit, where they're trying to figure out like who's this mole and all this other stuff like that, their task. They still have a day jobs to do, so they're tasked on another mission. The mission is that people are being mysteriously killed in their doorway because their apartments are left open, which sounds like a real actual. You don't have to do any curses for me to be afraid of that shit. Coming home, my door open, and trying to figure out why the reason getting killed. That's more than enough fear for me. The home invasion curse. Home
Basically.
invasion devil. Home invasion devil of Chainsaw Man is coming.
No, the flocking devil, bro. That's what it is.
The backdoor
devil. Backdoor devil, bro.
You don't have to spell too much out for me. So the link is for whatever reason they all attended the same junior high school for 2 years, and they were all cursed, and it may have taken years to manifest. So there's a whole bunch of like backstory that's added to this entire thing. I mean, they go to the junior high school. We find out it's Megumi's old high school. We find out essentially about Megumi's backstory. Please take it away, Cyrus.
In the manga, it says junior high, and I assume that's just middle school for them.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so
that's what I call it. Yeah. I mean, it's y'all don't call them middle school, junior high.
No, I have never been to. I think I've been to a junior high once, and then I transferred schools.
Interesting. No, it's the same shit.
Okay, that's what I figured.
It's just a different name.
What is junior high for y'all? Because 6th grade just got added to junior high here, so it's like 6th, 7th, 8th grade is what junior high / middle school.
I assume, that is nuts. But I assume junior highs are just 6 to 6th grader to 12. Like it's a middle school and a high school combined. That's what I thought it was.
I never thought about that, but realistically, I've always assumed junior high is just middle school because it's always 6 through 8 for me. And the fact that it wasn't 6 through 8 other places in this country realized that I'm in a small world.
Yeah, 6th graders just started getting grouped into junior high here, probably like a couple of years ago.
That's crazy. All right, well, you know what? Fair. Honestly, how was middle school staying in business if it was only 2 grades?
It's a hellish 2 years too, bro. It's like 7th and 8th grade were like that was the real trenches. High school was a breeze. Junior high, that's when niggas was really getting into some shit.
Well, listen, for Megumi it was a breeze because he was beating up every fucking body he was in the middle school. He was the. I don't even think he was a bully. He was just like the.
He was the Robin Hood. He was the Robin Hood enforcer. He made sure the little guy didn't get picked on.
He kept everybody in line. Yeah, you know what? And he was a one man Tokyo Revengers. How about that?
God.
Hey, he was definitely cheating, bro. Like you were beating up on regular niggas with your curse energy, bro. That's wild.
Man, that's very true. Very, very true. So we find out a little bit about Sumiki, who is Megumi's older half sister. But no one uses half in this fucking thing. They don't even mention half. They're like his older sister.
They're like black families. You don't really call your
I guess. No, you're right. Who I put in my notes, who becomes a notable deal later in the series. We'll get to that. Megumi wants to save her from being cursed, but he's kind of being like not dramatic about it. He's actually being way more coy about it than he probably should be. Because this is something that he generally, I don't think he likes having weaknesses or things that could possibly be used against him or like personal stuff. He doesn't like have any true attachment to anything. So he doesn't necessarily want to seem like he has like worries. But he does. It's the one thing that he worries about. His older sister's in a coma, has not awoken yet. He wants to save his sister from being cursed. That becomes a part of this as well. We learn that, well, we learned at the end of the last arc, but Mahito came in, stole the 3 death painting wounds during the time of the tournament, and fed it to one of the humans to resurrect a special grade curse that we're going to see a little bit later in this arc.
Mm-hmm.
Another bit of backstory in this. It's just backstory until we reach action.
Yeah, that's why
And then it turns it.
I hate this first episode. I think this first
Yeah,
episode, the first episode of this arc, is terrible.
yeah. It's just a bunch of like dumping information on you.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of
You
learn that
find,
Megumi's a little bit of a dickhead. I mean, that's just the big part. It's
I
kind of
mean, yeah. I mean, we find out. So we find out from one of the older sisters of one of the classmates that the older sister and Sumiki went to a bridge to bungee jump off the bridge or fake bungee jump off the bridge.
No, it's basically the boys in the hood thing. It's like you want to see a dead body and then you got cursed. That's basically what it is.
Okay. All right. Well, they said something about jumping off the bridge. But they went to the bridge at night, and now their doors are open, and his sister went with her, and now all this bunch of stuff like that. Megumi tries to send Yuji and Nobara off, but they want to join him anyway because they're also good people and also the protagonists and tritagonists of the series. And Sumiki's in a suspended state of sleep, and he's worried a cursed spirit could kill her. So he needs to exercise it now. So they all go down to the bridge and see what's popping. All right, that was a lot. Action time. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about it.
It turns into a showcase. I mean, that's really what this last little arc was. It's to showcase how much stronger these guys have gotten since the last time we've seen them fight, which, to be honest, wasn't that long ago. So
yeah, I mean, realistically, but this is Megumi's coming of age episode. You know what I'm saying? The part where he kind of realizes that he needs to overcome his own Sasuke-ness to become an actual true his own. His own. I mean,
don't compare him to Sasuke.
But he needs to overcome his own lack of
edgy.
Yeah, he just needs to let loose. That's essentially what Gojo's saying in this entire thing. So Megumi goes in. I mean, all three of them go in to find the cursed spirit of the bridge, and they find more that they're asking for. They also find one death painting, and then they find out another death painting. But they find a death painting Kichuzu, who is this big green, nasty looking shit. Kind of like when they did in the first mission, Nobara's kidnapped. So let's get her out of the picture.
Why she always got to be kidnapped, man?
She a threat.
It's just easy. You get real heel heat for kidnapping a girl. We learn that the mission was to retrieve Sukuna's finger. From the death paintings were sent on this mission also to retrieve Sukuna's finger. Yuji and Nobara go off on their other thing to fight these death paintings, while Megumi takes on the curse of the bridge, which ends up looking like the original curse from the fucking prison.
The detention center.
The detention center. Let's talk about Megumi's kind of development here. Kind of what's your favorite part regarding this? Because he goes through kind of he experiences something. He does this. He wants to do the noble thing where he puts his life on the line to save everybody else. But Gojo's why?
It's making him significantly weak. It's making him significantly weaker by trying to be a martyr or some shit.
He's too much of a strategist. I think he even brings it up when he's talking about the baseball game. He's like, well, why did you lay down a sacrifice bunt? And in hindsight, you're playing baseball. That's a good play. You get the person to move over. You're playing for the team. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Yada, yada, yada. But he's essentially, he's just why don't you swing for the fences ever though? You're always trying to, you're always in a weird way.
He wants to be a sacrifice.
Yeah. When in reality, he has superstar power.
Yeah.
Or superstar potential.
And I think that's great. And I think when Gojo says that, it didn't click for me on the third or the fourth. It really didn't click to me until this, the fifth watch, where Gojo's just you have the potential to really be something serious, something even better than Yuji. And I think that's what Sukuna saw at first.
It does help that Sukuna is like also like this. You know what, this guy right here. I'm gonna keep my 4 eyes on this
Yeah, like
motherfucker right here. Um, but yeah, nah, Megumi is essentially. I mean, all this stuff is great analysis in terms of like kind of what goes on with him, and I think he has his own awakening from that standpoint once he realizes like, yeah, it's time to swing for the fences. Um, we see stuff like the Shikigami Divine Dog Totality, which is awesome. Um,
mhm.
it reminds me of our JJK shirt that we never actually released. Um, which may, I mean, may get a release at some point. At this point in the future, we need funds. Um, but Megumi is shocked and realized curse victims have been dying. Well, all right, I'm skipping too far ahead in my notes. We go through
Mhm.
these fighting thing. It's a good back and forth kind of fight. Um, I feel like Megumi thinks he has him pinned down. The spirit, the curse takes you know,
New
gets the
form.
best of Megumi. Yeah, he takes a new
Okay.
form and gets the best of Megumi. Megumi has his flashback. We see um, he activates his domain expansion Chimera Shadow Garden. Uh,
Uh, what is
which
it?
is
It's referred
fire,
to,
by the way.
yeah, fire name, but also it's referred to as just like an area expansion since he doesn't really got the domain part right yet, which I'm just like,
yeah,
you got to get it together, brother. And he still didn't get it together. And I don't think he ever will.
but he's also holding in this kind of fact that he realizes that, and I'm going kind of back and forth about this. Megumi also realizes that these curse victims began dying in June, the same month that Yuji incarnated Sukuna, but doesn't
Mhm.
really want to tell him because he's like, might fuck this nigga up internally. Um, but so they're essentially he's going against this, this curse that has Sukuna's fingers. He uses Chimera Shadow Garden. Um, badass appears from beneath a shadow. This is the kind of shit that you don't. I felt like I wanted to see more, and it does come up later in the actual series itself. Like Megumi really using his shadow shit to like hide in or like come out
Mhm.
of or like surprise attack kind of shit. I feel like he should use it more, but also I guess they don't want it to become too gimmicky for him. But he has mad at Shikigami, so it is what it is. We see a flashback, and Megumi was a kid. Um, he had a father who's yet to be named, but will be seen. Trust me, will be seen, will be heard, will be felt. Um,
King.
Real king shit, bro. Real king.
um, I remember initially when we were covering this back in the day, we were covering JJK episode, and I think Carlos was on that episode. And he was telling me about his, Megumi's dad, and I was like, wow, I really got to read this shit, huh? Um, and I read it, and he's fucking awesome, and everyone's about to see it. But he was a kid with a father and a stepmother that disappeared without a trace. I don't know. I guess I did a Jim from The Office kind of look off screen, but you can't really see it. You can only hear it. But Dojo stepped in to support Megumi and his sister, so Megumi wouldn't have to be sold off to the Zenin family. But overall, after this battle, Megumi requires Sukuna's finger, and then he passes out after this battle. So,
What's up
you
with him
know,
and passing out on the battlefield
Every time.
every time? Like he's just like, nah, I'm finna just take a nap. Like right here where niggas is just fighting.
you know what?
Supposedly,
That's a
I
good
think.
question. That's a good question. May need some, context on this. Um, let's go over to Nabarra and Yuji, who are doing like this tag team battle with the death paintings. So the death painting womb's origin story is one of the sickest shit that I've ever read or seen. Um, a woman, random woman, I think, was capable of giving. I'm saying, I think, I'm not sure.
Oh,
Gege's wild.
you think it's gonna be a crazy reveal?
It's gonna be some crazy reveal. It was
it's
also
good.
him.
It's Gojo's mom.
Right? Something crazy. It's like the baby in My Hero Academia is like this one baby just had a quirk, and now quirk human society exists. Don't hold that against My Hero Academia. But a woman was capable of giving birth to a human spirit hybrid, ran off to a temple where Noritoshi Kamo, the most evil sorcerer in history, um, ended up controlling her. And they performed experiments on her which resulted in having her 9 pregnancies, and subsequently she had 9 abortions, leading to the creation of death painting wounds. Now, I believe they couldn't be, you can't just kill them, which is why they're just wounds. You can't just like disintegrate them. They don't really die.
Too much curse energy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Fetuses.
Wounds. Babies with bad energy, man.
Yeah.
It's like that tweet. It's like that tweet. I know why. What if the baby had bad energy? That's why the dad didn't want to be around. Bad vibes.
So we get 3 of these death painting wounds. They're alive. They're kicking. One of them is called, we already seen the little green shit. It's called Ketchuzu, and the other one is called Eso. And they have this tag team battle with Yuji and Nobara, which is, I mean, Mappa said, you know what? Let's leave him with a little something. You know what I'm saying? Let's, I mean, Gege ultimately writes and does this thing, but Mappa animates it. Go ahead, Cyrus.
I watch this episode all the time. That's
like such a good episode.
This arc might suck, or like those first 2 episodes might be ass, but episode 24,
yeah,
that shit went platinum in my household.
It's an interesting way. I mean, I think I don't know if they anticipated on both these curse. I mean, they're special grade at this point. Like, they're supposed to be like threatening. But realistically, like, Nobara takes it up to like this like sick sadist level. Kind of masochistic as well. Yeah.
Yeah, she goes OD. I was like, dang, she might be Puerto Rican, how crazy she is, man. I was just like,
she said, oh, you poison me? Yeah, we about to go band for band, nigga.
She was like, let's go, bro. Band for band. Just pulling out bands out the backpack. Like, come on, the stacks keep going.
She uses her straw doll technique with, you know, to essentially be like, if I'm gonna decay, you guys are gonna die. And it's essentially a game of chicken of like who's gonna let go of their curse technique first. Yuji, who is fucking OP in the series because he carries Isakuna's vessel, is not affected by such foolishness from your normal special grade curse user.
Which I was just like, how convenient. How convenient is
that? Oh yeah. He doesn't get poisoned or decayed or shit like that. He's fucking Sukuna.
The king of poisons.
So which I've never heard of like Sukuna being like king of poisons in anything that I've seen him in.
Since and then later, but Yuji beats the shit out of Kachuza. Beats the holy shit. Yeah, really, to the point where it's like Esso's like, yo, I gotta save my brother. Do I let go of this technique and go back to the wing shit, or do I like keep it on and hope they die? And Kachizu's essentially like, brother, like this shit hurts.
I'm getting cooked, brother.
He's punching me in my lungs. Like he's killing me. And I'm a curse. So imagine how this shit might legit feels. So eventually Esso releases he deactivates his technique, goes back to the wing.
He unintentionally does it because he's like, oh, I'm just gonna fight Yuji, fuck it, and then he sees like his brother in so much pain, and then just like cuts it off like via his mind.
Yeah,
and then that just leaves him open to just further ass whoopings.
Yeah, Yuji and Nobari both activate Black Flash, which is a bad time for any fucking villain at this point.
The music at this part.
Oh yeah,
when they kick, that's why I really watch this shit so many times. When the music stops and they hit the Black Flash together, I think that shit is so cool. And then
this shit is hard.
The way that the manga describes it is just like, Nobara was like in so much pain, but she's so fucking focused right now.
Yeah,
and Yuji is just nasty with it.
They equate Black Flash to, if it's in sports terms, called the zone. It's essentially like Mamba mentality type shit. Like you don't feel shit, you just aim. It's just there to win. Which I'm like, what? Nuts. I mean, all right, cool.
That's
I mean, I
fire.
guess it's so, you know, Kichuzu's, I mean, Nobara activates it, sends a nail through Kichuzu's head. Yuji punches off Esso's arm completely. Kichuzu goes for the kill on Nobara, but with hairpin, she blows off Kichuzu's actual head. I wrote sick shit in my fucking thing. They realize Kichuzu is flesh and blood because they aren't disappearing.
Like regular curse
spirits. Yeah. So Yuji still is, I mean, he's pursuing Esso himself. Nobara uses a straw doll technique on Esso's severed arm to really kind of like put Yuji in position to take him out of his fucking misery. And Yuji apologizes during it, but kills him.
It's like,
and that,
it's like this New Jack City. Niggas started crying before he shot his mans.
Shoso, like, the third painting, who was just not on the scene, he's like, all right, I guess he's playing games with Mahito and Geto.
Not there with his brothers.
Realizes that his brother's fake. Realizes that his brothers are dead, and now they're like, damn, who was he killed by? Those two, kids from Jujutsu High. Damn those kids. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think any of them say damn those kids. I think they're excited.
They were just like, damn, those first years went crazy.
Yeah, they
like, ooh wee. It was like, niggas was stupid.
They get back Sukuna's finger. They meet up with Megumi. Yuji, Megumi is like, since you're the strongest, Yuji, hold on to the finger. Sukuna pops out with his mouth on Yuji's hand and eats the finger. And yeah, another finger down for Yuji. And then the rest of the episode is like this real like post-credit scene.
Yeah, basically. Which
we're setting up. We're setting up for the next couple arcs. Gojo's trying to figure out the mole who let the cursed spirits in to know the location of the tournament. They put in a recommendation for Yuji, Megumi, Nobara, Maki, and Panda to be promoted to grade 1 sorcerers. I don't think they're actually promoted.
No, I could be wrong. Because the incident happens and it postpones everything.
Yeah, so...
and it's still postponed.
Yeah, it's still postponed now.
I mean, it is what it is, but we know them. We know their body. And that's kind of it for this arc. It's not a long arc, but it's certainly fun to watch if you like watching gory fucking final battles with fucking great music. And
it's a showcase, like I said. It's these niggas going crazy.
And go ahead.
No, it's legit them going, like, all three of them have a highlight moment of them doing some type of special. They're, some type of attack. It's they up the stakes just a little bit, adding in some more villains, and now you got this third death painting. You're like, oh shit, now he's coming after. Now he's got some mark on their head.
Right, and you really see the development of our big three in this series from when they first started to where they're at now. And I think that's what truly matters coming out of this arc, is that these three are poised to face kind of anything that's coming in their way. And, they've been talking about October 31st in this series since like episode 3 or 5. You know what I'm saying? So there is something looming. There's something big looming along this thing. Cyrus mentioned that there are a lot of things kind of like hinted at or laid out in this arc that we may not see until later on after the fact. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, first of all, if you're listening thus far, this is a short episode. I'm sorry. But we're about to go into the spoiler section of this episode. So if you do not like spoilers, if you do not read the manga, if you do not read or absorb any of that stuff, thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a great 30 minutes with you. We'll be back in 2 weeks with more conversations to talk about. But the spoiler section is going to be pretty heavy considering we're at the end of this, season. Yeah. And there's a lot of stuff that's beginning to play out in the current manga and where everything has moved forward. I mean, season 1 is a great layout for what this series actually is. And you kind of learn about the curses. You see your big bads. You see your heroes. You kind of they lay out the sides of like good and evil, and then also I guess in chapter 0 too, lay out the sides of good and evil. From here on out, things are in motion and things are happening. And I think that's kind of like where we're gonna get in season 2. Well, we're for sure getting that in fucking season 2.